Welcome everyone to another video of A Vinyl Addict. This is Chili and this is video number 14 of my Stoner Psych Space Prog vinyl pick. And it's no other than the Amboy Dukes. Okay, so this is Ted Nugent's band and this is Dr. Slingshot, a little compilation. Now before I get into this, please don't forget to hit the like button, comment on this video, share this video, and if you still haven't, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you can receive updates. Now, with that out of the way, yes, Ted Nugent, this is late 60s, 67, 68, they had their first album, the Amboy Dukes, and then, which followed the Journey of the Center of the Mind. And this album here kind of, it's a compilation of those two, right? Because the first three albums are probably the best, and he is the leader of this band, and even though he just plays lead guitar, there is another guitarist in the band. I'll go through the lineup here. However, he's already starting to wear his kind of barbaric kind of hunting gear. So the people in this band: Ted Nugent, right, guitar; Dave Palmer on drums, Bill White on bass, Steve Farmer guitar, Rick Lober piano, organ, and John Drake on vocals. Okay, so going through this album here, this is a really short little compilation here. Side 1 is Flight of the Bird. Now that comes from the Journey to the Center of the Mind, and that song is about his guitar. You know, so he plays that Gibson. He always played the Gibson Birdland, that giant guitar. And so this song pretty much showcases that. And his solos on here are blistering, and it's just insane hearing a young Ted Nugent. He's not Uncle Ted yet. I guess he's like Cousin Ted right here. And he's just, you know, going off. And you have Surrender to Your Kings, Dr. Slingshot, Scottish Tea. Those are all from Journey to the Center of the Mind, and side 1 ends with The Lovely Lady from the first album. Now Dr. Slingshot, that song starts off with a really cool kind of guitar riff that we would be privileged to hear, you know, Mr. Nugent come up with later on in the 70s, like Cat Scratch Fever, very catchy kind of riffs. And so he kind of starts that on this song, Dr. Slingshot. And Scottish Tea is an instrumental, pretty much Celtic marching band kind of song. You know, they're substituting the bagpipes with guitars on here. But it's an okay song. It's just, you know, it kind of comes out of nowhere, you know, because at least some of the other material on here seems very like they kind of go together, and then you just kind of have this weird Celtic kind of song coming in on the mix, and it's just like kind of throws you off at first, but it's like, oh, okay, well, that was interesting. Now back to, you know, business at hand. So psychedelic rock, you know, heavy blues. So side 2 starts off with Mississippi Murderer, and that is a blues song, and then you get to hear the raspy voice of John Drake, which is really great. And actually Mississippi Murderer, that is from the Journey to the Center of the Mind album. Now Let's Get Stoned and Down on Phillips Escalator, those two songs, and the last one, It's Not True, is from the first album. Now Let's Get Stoned, that is written by Ashford and Simpson. They're a couple, became very big in the 80s with R&B kind of pop songs. They had that big hit, Solid as a Rock. I don't know if you ever listened to that kind of music in the 80s, but they wrote this song. And so that's what I mean. It's very cool to hear the other stories of rock and roll, like where these people come from, and you know what they were doing prior to who they were, what they became. And so Ashford and Simpson were just, you know, songwriters, and they wrote Let's Get Stoned, which is interesting because this being a psychedelic hard rock band, late 60s, they came out at the same time. This is their music is out the same time Are You Experienced is out, and that whole thing. So Ted Nugent has always been anti-drug. He's never taken drugs before. He doesn't wish to. He doesn't care to. And so I guess he gave the green light to go ahead and do this Let's Get Stoned song. And I guess, oh, well, everyone's doing it, so let's do it. I don't think, you know, he was behind the meaning or the sentiment behind it. That's just my opinion for someone who doesn't take drugs, and he strongly stands behind that. However, you know, there's that song. So he plays on it, you know, he's a team player. He's all, let's go, let's do it, whatever. So Down on Phillips Escalator is another just a great rock song, ending off with It's Not True, which is a cover from The Who on this album. It's a deep cut, and they don't do it as far as like the way they sing the song. They kind of sing it in a more Mr. Tambourine Man kind of psychedelic kind of thing, Birds, not the way Roger Daltrey sings that song, where it's coming from a mean kind of dark alleyway, you know, because they're you know, The Who is the hooligans, and they're just kind of like always talking about getting into trouble and kinds of things like that, and they kind of do it kind of lighthearted. You know, I tend to like this one version better, of course. However, you know, I think that it was interesting that they picked a deep cut from doing a cover song of The Who than, say, My Generation, or another hit from here was The Kids Are All Right, of course, or Legal Matter. You know, because at the time of the late 60s or early, like mid 60s, if someone had a hit, people would just always do that song the next year, or even the same year. They would cover it. You know, you'd hear Stevie Wonder covering Light My Fire, you know, a year later or something, or even Frank Sinatra would do a Beatles song. You know, it wasn't uncommon just to you know, jump on the success of a song and just do a cover version of it. However, they didn't do that. They instead, you know, I guess as fans of The Who and really enjoying It's Not True, you know, they covered that, which kind of gives you a little insight on the band, which is like, okay, we really love this song, let's just cover this song. And so that's really cool. And so as far as, you know, this band, I feel like this is a really great psychedelic heavy rock album. If you never heard of these guys or Ted Nugent's guitar playing in this setting, I think you'd be blown away. You know, I mean, I was totally blown away. And just, you know, just especially with the organs and all that kind of stuff going around it. And you really do get to hear Ted. And then if you listen to like some of the stuff in the 70s, it does sound similar. His guitar playing, he's like, you really hear it developing and everything, and he was just really explosive in this band. So that is my Psych, Stoner Psych Space Prog vinyl pick, the Amboy Dukes. If you haven't heard them, I suggest that, you know, just even go on YouTube and just take a listen, and you know, leave me a comment below. What are your thoughts on this? And with that, I'll shut up and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.